Hey guys, this video is going to be primarily about fighting Southpaw spammers, and a lot of it's going to be from the Southpaw position myself. And I've got a lot of advanced tactics such as check hooks, stepping hooks, lunging hooks, and all kinds of stuff. So I have one almost full fight versus a high level Southpaw spammer, and in that fight I stay Southpaw myself for the most part. And then I've got another couple rounds from other Southpaw spammers that have a little bit different styles. And I've got two full fights of training. So this would be offline training, doing drills to replicate all this stuff I'm doing here. And also, we're going to kind of practice on being dangerous, right? So you got this brawler, you got to use them. And I'm going to show how I do that. And it's also going to kind of go over some of the perfect block type counters I had in my last video, advanced blocking. Okay, also I got to kind of warn you that the app that I edit my videos in, it's not taking my mic for some reason, so I have to play the video, then you record the voice as I watch the video, so I might be off a little bit. I'm going to try to fix that. But anyway, just like all the other spam videos, the idea is go under the straight, at least for, to wear them out, and then later we can go to the head, but that's our target, is going under the straight. Is very important that we throw on the same side as his straight, or we can get hit very, very hard. It's easy to get knocked out doing that. But you can do a lot of cool stuff. So here we are, Southpaw, Southpaw. And you'll see I just slam him with the lunging hook. Things like that are very damaging to him. And you have simple little things too. Just like a jab to the body will go under the straight. I'm going to be covering a lot of stepping type punches and check hooks, and actually even how to spam the spammer if you want. And yeah, it'll be very good. If you watch this video, I'm sure you'll have a lot more success for Southpaw spammers. And I'm going to go over everything that I do, so hopefully you can implement that into your game. Okay, and one of the things you're going to see coming up frequently here is the check hook, and that's basically on the same side as their straight, is flicking the right stick like in between the straight punch and the hook. So it's going to be about, I don't know, that would be what, like 1 o'clock. So, and you don't have to flick it 3 times, but you can actually, throw like 8 of those off and then block, and you'll still be okay, but don't spam that either though, because that'll wear you out eventually as well. Okay, here we're going to take a quick look at what happens when you throw on the wrong side of the spammer's hand. So we threw to his right, but you can see his left caught us good. You have to really avoid those, and again, go under the straight. So here we're going to be looking a little bit at some stepping counters. You'll see I kind of move my right foot, my lead foot, outside of his lead foot. That's basically what you want to visualize. In the game, it doesn't really step all the way outside, but you would in real life. But you'll see I move, I get my lead foot out, basically outside of his, and then I throw the power overhand. So on the same side as his straights, that's the key. So even though this guy's orthodox, we throw on his right side. But the same concept applies to the Southpaws. And you can see it's pretty fast. A lot of people don't catch it. And I get a lot of knockdowns and knockouts doing that. We'll see this here. This time he's moving his feet to the right, so we go to the right. And we do that again by flicking first the left stick up, so that moves right. And then our punch is going to be the overhand left in this case, because his right hand's over on the same side as my left. Okay, and when you fight these guys, when you have an opportunity to hit them hard, you have to hit them hard. You can't let them just run over you, and you're not going to, like we talked about last time, and I was talking to LX Sniper about this, like, you're not going to get knocked out in real life, so don't be afraid, don't fight scared. Put something on these guys. And here, this time I step outside of his lead foot, and we'll look at that again. And again, this is just showing that we're going to punch on the same side as his straight. So there's a step outside. So we step outside of the lead foot, or at least visualize that. And the effect's the same. Here I do a dash, I dash in. So, and I'm throwing that check hook on the same side as his straight. I dash in after he misses a couple and catch him there. And that's something that you can do easy. This is a common thing. The spammers, they'll throw a bunch of straights to the body, then some to the head. So that works very good. So we flick the left stick to crowd them and push in on them. And then we're going to throw our overhand or check. And when they spam the body like that, it's the same concept. You punch on the same side they're throwing the spam at. So if he's just spamming the right hand, we're going to throw on his right hand, left, left. Okay, the drills will be starting a little bit, but it's pretty important to do them, I feel, because you'll just automatically start doing, what you're practicing, So like you saw the pull counter there, and then here, it's just pretty easy. I automatically know to, step outside his foot and hit him with the left hook. And yeah, it's really helpful. And like I said, the fights will be starting in a few moments, and then I have the full training fights that you can just do, offline and then go online, and it should really help you out a lot. So just what we're looking at here is, again, like, hitting them hard, man. Like you have to keep people off you, and you got the brawler, or hopefully you do, and so you want to use them. Don't be afraid, and go ahead and just stay on him. And if he wants to trade, then trade. So then there again, I do another counter on this guy, and so I step off to my right, which will be down.
Oh, he is stunned. He could go down.
And that step hook can work against any spammer. Like, even in the middle of the ring, just do it once, whatever. Like you got an orthodox power straight spammer. That stepping left hook will work. Stepping right hook will work. So again, we're just going underneath it. And what we're looking at here is this is very common. You want to get their straight percentage very, very low. You can see the guy on the left, he's only at 21%. And that's really one of the key factors, is keeping your stamina and health up high and whittling his down. You can do that by making him miss a lot of straights and countering his straights like such. Okay, and one of the biggest factors about all this is keeping your punches tight and accurate, and take advantage of their slop. You want to really be conscientious of keeping your stamina at about, keeping your accuracy, my bad, about 60%. And that will really help you out throughout the duration of the fight, is keeping your accuracy high. And again, when you have a chance, you got the guys, on the ropes or near the ropes, put something on them, but always be ready for backstep straights and all the push straights and all that nonsense. And there we go again. I dashed into him. That's in the training drills as well. So we'll close our distance by dashing into him. And just one more time. And so again, it's just that's the way the game mechanics work. When they throw a right, you gotta throw your left. When they throw a left, you gotta throw your right. It's a strange thing. It's very simple though. It's real basic. And here again, I go under the straight with a jab to the body. Now you don't want to spam the jabs like I am here. This is a 3-year-old clip or so, about 3 years. But you can see it definitely does counter it, and those jabs will do something over the long term. But you see he runs away, let him go. Here again, one more time, just underneath the straight. So like for the first section of the fight, until he gets tired, just keep countering the straight, counter the straight, and let him miss some, let him miss some. It's very important. And here in a moment, you're going to see I step to outside of his foot, and bam. So that's another tactic you can use, and I recommend you do. But don't excessively step, because that does take stamina. And we want to slow them down. When they miss a big punch, or you land a big punch, clinch them, especially in the early rounds. Like you clinch 3 to 4 times, and juke, jive, feint the shit out of these guys, and make them miss as much as you possibly can, especially early. So like here, I just throw a jab, I get him to throw a step back straight, and then one more time, and this will have a huge impact on their stamina. And that's the whole game plan, and that's the whole way you win fights, is stamina advantage. And you got a body spammer again. We're gonna dip down into it. This is in the training videos as well. And punch right back on the same side that he's spamming from. And again, this is kind of a base combo. You're straight to the body or hook to the body, go under his straight to the head. So a jab to the head, straight to the body. Works great. Again, we want to slow him down. This is too early in the fight to be doing that kind of exchanging. And because we want to definitely, our game plan is to get a stamina advantage and not take too much damage. So again, and also be dangerous. See, I'm stunned, man. This guy, he ends up clinching me, you know, because I get some pretty good shots in on him. And so make sure you use your power. You want a lot of power punches as long as it's in a safe location. That would just take practice. When you foul with the referee out of the frame, if that's like in your game plan, and you'll get a lot. Usually you'll get some free ones, and you know, it is what it is. So you see here, we gotta hit him. You know what I mean? And we're hitting on the same side as his straight. And we get him on the ropes, we gotta hurt him. Okay, all this is just showing the build that I was kind of using here and what I generally use in all these videos. This is a short, fat dude with heavy weight and short reach, okay? And here's basically the stats I'm working with, something like this. So you see mostly body punches and then the hooks to the head because the straight is very expensive. So here the important thing is the 22 knockouts out of 44 fights. That's because I take my time, because in order to be accurate, you got to take your time. So most of my fights are long, and I recommend you stretching your fights out as well. You'll find that you'll win more. And like I said, I'm not the greatest player. I just understand the spam, and I'm very patient. That's, you know, that's all there is. It's just I win a lot just from that. And again, this is what happens when you throw it to the wrong side. And this straight in this game is devastating, and you have to try to avoid taking those at all costs. So in a moment, the fight will start, and we'll see how we do that. Okay, so let's remember the stepping check hook, because I use it all the time, but I mostly go to the head, and we're going to be using this a lot in this fight versus this guy, because he's Southpaw, and we're going to be a Southpaw. And the most important thing in these fights against spammers is just getting through the early part of the fight. We don't want to care about score. We don't care about knockouts. None of that stuff. We just want to survive and not take too much damage. Okay, so here we go. The idea here again is just try not to take too much damage like that. And kind of work on countering his straights. And this is an old fight. This is about 3 years old, but I would have done most of this the same today. So we clinch him because he's just waiting for a straight. We can clinch or push him off. And I'm just trying to figure out what he's got. So I see he's going to do a side step uppercut possibly. Now he's waiting for a straight. See, yeah, there you go. When they're just standing there, either push them, you know, or give them a good shot. And remember, our right hand will go on his left side. So we need to make sure when we put something on, when we throw our punches, we want to kind of stick with those at first. So we want to throw to his straight side, especially early. And then slide, you know, slip in some good power body shots if you can, without taking too much damage. And again, you know, our right hand goes perfectly against his left side. So, and we got to kind of keep him honest, you know. So we're not going to just run away and let him beat us up. You know, we got to put something on him. Now I'm stepping outside of his lead foot again. That's kind of a cheap thing that's not even realistic. I mean, a little bit. I mean, you do step a little bit, but it's not like in this game where it just makes it where he can't block or anything. Again, we're stepping outside. It's kind of creates like a counter without him even really punching. And that's what we do with the controller to do that. And there's really nothing he can do unless he steps with us. Okay, and the reason I show this is I throw a side step uppercut just to make him think about it. Like, I normally don't use that punch, and I have no stats on it either. You can do that as well, the back step straight. Just throw one out there so they see it, and that will kind of keep them less aggressive sometimes, especially the back step straight. Just flash it without, you know, being in a position where you're going to get hit. So there's the step counter again. And we want the hooks real arcing. You know, we want to go real high on the hooks. A lot of times hooker cut's better for a lot of things, but in this case, when we're stepping off to the side, we want the real high arcing wide hook. So here I come out, I've got 95% stamina. That's pretty good for second round. That's a real important factor, is keeping your stamina very high, especially early. Okay, in a moment I clipped this guy, and the way I did that one was I stepped to his left. And ideally you want to keep going outside of his lead foot, but this time I went the other way. So, and it worked out pretty good. And we lean back and away, you know, when we're blocking, if we can. That's the ideal thing. Can't always do it, of course, you know. So even when he's stunned, you know, we've got to be careful still. But here's one more look at that. Now you watch my feet. This time I step to his left. So you can mix it up a little bit. You can change the punch you throw, you know, left hook or right hook, step to the left, step to the right. But ideally, like I said, you want to go outside of his lead foot. Now we're going to put some pretty hard body punches when we have him stunned. And when he runs away, he's going to be looking for a back step straight. And so remember again, the clinching. So I'm just going to clinch him up so he can't get anything back on me. And hopefully take a little stamina off him.
Up top with a left.
Again, we're just stepping outside again.
Does he have to worry about trying to keep up this pace?
No, I don't think so. If he keeps at this pace, he's not going to be around to worry.
So in the beginning of the fight too, we want to keep single shots, maybe two, unless you have him directly on the ropes or you have him stunned.
Halfway through round number.
So here we go, the body a little bit. Same thing. The lead hand's going to go underneath his straight to the body. Or my right hand will go under his left hand. And can't really take those big shots, you know. Never exchange early when they're slamming away straights and you're throwing regular punches. It's never going to turn out good for you. So there you see we go off. I throw the stepping left hand. So you have some variety you can use. Now I'm punching a little bit too much here. I want to keep these two, but I knew that back step straight was coming, you know. It always does, so always be aware of that after your combinations. They're always going to be looking for it.
Bone crushers tagged by that powerful.
And again, we got to put something on him once in a while. And the right hand on his left side, usually almost 90% of the time is going to beat his straight. Again, that's all this is. And you notice when we do those there's a jab to the body. That's another good tool too if you're far away. And again, it's going to be a jab to his body under his straight. And once again, there's a check hook. Of course, the back step straight from him, and then we're going to counter that with a lunging hook. And that was a good long jab. And even if you don't have stats on it, you can still use the punches, you know, once in a while. Okay, so always just be aware of the side step and back step straight. It's the most damaging punch in the game, in my opinion. And this guy is obviously just looking only for that. You can see that. And you notice I'm flat-footed here, so I'm letting go of the left stick when I punch. We don't want to be going into him. You see, I'm right there. I would have probably got knocked out with this. And you can see there, as soon as I threw my left hook to the body, his straight is going to hit me because I threw on the wrong side. And that's what most of these guys do. They just do backstep power straights, and they get new people in there, and they make them quit, you know. People are not going to play a game like this, especially it's supposed to be boxing. Like, all this is just bullshit. And the idea is, when you fight a spammer, you have to get the idea of boxing out of your mind completely. Your methodology in that is going to be, what kind of bullshit is he doing, and what do I got to do to stop it? It's not, hey, I'm going to throw a jab, right hook, left hook, or a jab, uppercut, left hook, body. No, it's, you got to figure out his bullshit and then be thinking all the time about your stamina. And you notice I came back in this round with that 89. That's decent, but ideally going into round 3, you want to be over, 90 or better. That's the target. But sometimes I got him stunned and I was hitting him quite a bit, so I was expected to be less on my stamina. Like, that's a very dangerous thing to do. You see how I pushed my left stick towards him when I was punching? I lunged in. You cannot miss these kind of punches and take those kind of straights. That could have cost me the fight right there. So be very, very careful. You got to really be conscious of that straight the whole fight, but especially the first 3-4 rounds, especially. And we want as many of those as we can get. And his output's not too high, so he can go a lot longer than other people had they been spamming the straightaway like a lot more, with a lot more frequency. He's not throwing a lot. He's still missing a lot, so it's going to take longer for his stamina to go down to the point where I can knock him out, So then again, this time all we do is just, instead of throwing the stepping check hook to the head, we throw it to the body. And I started doing that, I think, because he wasn't throwing too many punches, and so I wanted to kind of help him along. You'll see every once in a while I do change it up, like I'll throw a stepping straight to the body or something, or a couple jabs. But he's not doing a lot of other things anyway, so I'm not really worried about him adjusting to my step hook. Like, if they don't counter your check hooks right away, or in the first 2-3 rounds, like, they're never going to do it because they don't know how. They just throw straights their whole Fight Night champion career.
Start going downstairs, taking the air out of the tires, and later on, he'll be in front of you.
So again, it's definitely not a sprint, especially when they're just throwing straights. Just take your time. And those stepping hooks I've been doing, those score very well. The stepping uppercut, the step uppercut is the highest scoring punch, and I think the step hooks are right below that. So he's just waiting. So here we go. This is better on stamina. See, I'm getting back 13%. That basically means I'm doing a pretty good job according to the game. And I'm back at 89% again, going round 4. That's very good. Like I said, we're not worried about scoring or knockouts or anything right now. We're just going to continue on boxing until we clip them, and that will come. So just take your time and just trust the process. Work on getting that stamina advantage up, and eventually you're going to catch them. At this point, because it's round 4 here, I'm starting to open up a little bit more, and I've noticed him like being a little bit slower and not as hard punching. So we start opening up a little bit more and a little bit more. And if you see my chicken wing video or my other spam videos, like I had a chart on there. You start off slow and then you throw more and more as the fight goes on. And so there, now he's finally going to do something. So he throws the push straight. And again, on my other video on the advanced blocking, it shows exactly how to counter that. So he's just waiting for a straight, So I just kind of walk around a little bit. And if you're up on points, there we go. So he threw the push straight at me, so I throw him a push hook. So we press the LB button or L1, and then just throw your hook, your lead hook, on his right-hand side. And don't spam that either, especially if you're fighting a new guy. I wouldn't even use that. But
left to the body.
And that straight to the body is pretty safe as long as you do it kind of from outside, where you're right at the end of your reach when you hit him. So he's just waiting for a straight, you know.
The hook came home with ease.
And I'm pretty sure, well, if I'm up on points, if you get like a couple knockdowns, you don't need to be doing none of this. You can just walk around.
End of the round here, and as I glance around ringside and look at the judges, I'm wondering what they're writing down, because that was a tough round to score.
Yeah, it was, and you know, it's the kind of round where one guy would be really smart to take a page out of the book of Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, where
Yeah, that's a dangerous combo you got to watch out for. The low to the body, the power straight to the head. And again, in my advanced blocking, I show exactly how to defeat that, and in my chicken wing video.
Blocks that punch. To the belt line he goes with a left hand.
So, like I said, this is 3 years ago. I wouldn't have been this aggressive, or not. I'm not even really aggressive, but I wouldn't have been throwing as much on this guy. I would have probably switched stances and then worked on getting him to the ropes, you know. But still, this will work for new people. It's very new friendly, or new people friendly. Yeah.
To the head he goes with a left hand.
That's another big thing. So when you block a power punch, or you kind of partially block it, immediately throw your own shot back on the same side that he threw. And this is in the drills. In fact, I got a real good sequence of drills. So I block, and immediately I hit him right back. That's so he can't run us over. And there again, I punch on the wrong side, and I get clipped yet again. And all it takes to straight is one. Yeah, see that? It's a very dangerous situation right there. Okay, so I did end up winning this fight. We're going to start here in a moment with a speedy southpaw straight backstepper. So the idea here is we want to just throw little, easy, fast punches under his straight. So in this case, it'll just be the jab, since he's jumping backwards. The more we can get him to miss, the less stamina he's going to get back in between rounds. So it'll take 4 or 5 rounds, and then we'll have like about a 25% stamina advantage. And at that point, it's going to be very difficult for him to win a fight. And also, I see here, I do some feints. See, get him throwing. The more we can feint, and the more he misses, that's what we want. So if you get a guy falling for all your feints, just keep feinting. Feint, 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 feint. And then when you get close enough to catch them without getting hit with the back step straight, do that, because you cannot take those back step straights, you know, especially when they're fresh. So we're just going to drag this out, and since we have a brawler, there's no way he can come up to us and do anything, you know. So he needs us to come to him. And okay, so with this guy, we would just keep doing this for about 4 rounds, and then start opening him up on him. We'll get a knockout. Now we've got another guy. This is later in the fight. He's doing all step back left straights. So it's basically the same thing. You'll see I'm in round, I think it's 8 or 9. I'm at 79%. That's really good. And I'm winning this fight anyway, so I don't really need to do anything. And like a lot of people, this dude just won't come forward for nothing. You know, that's all he's doing. So when you're up on points, like, you're done. You don't need to do anything. You know, make him come get his, because you can definitely get knocked out very easy with the back step straight. It's happened to me hundreds of times, especially when I was new. But there we go. The jab goes under, because it's we're punching on his left hand side. It goes right under his straight again, and the hook as well. See, like, that was a good lunging hook, because we want to hit him right at the very end of our reach. You cannot take those straights he just threw. It's very devastating, and that's absolute bullshit too. That's not realistic at all. You have pull counters, but you should see that one in my chicken wing videos. It actually shows that near the end of the chicken wing video shows a real pull counters. Yeah, back step straights and side step uppercuts. That's what this game's all about now, I guess.
You want to see if those legs are stable, if they're firm.
Okay, so the important thing here is just keep in mind their decision will count as a win too. You know, you notice on my record, I think 44-3, but only 22 of those knockouts came from, or only 50% of my wins are by knockout, and that's because of things like this. Like, I'll just take it easy and not press it, because I've been knocked out so many times when I was winning fights, when I was new, And, you know, I was working hard, trying to throw combos and everything, and then one back step straight, bam, that's all over with. So I don't even really chance it that much anymore. But this is an old fight too. All these fights are pretty old actually. But so I would have done this a little bit different. But nonetheless, you just, I mean, it's just bullshit, you know. So if you're up, just don't do anything. Make them come to you, or just throw some jabs or something. Because they always looking for a cheap way to win.
He digs in with a left hand to the body.
Okay, so here, yeah, side uppercut. And then when you get them on the ropes, then do some work. But be careful when they leave. They always look for that. See that little segment there? That's the most typical thing in this game, probably. Now here's another person is standing waiting for you to punch. This is setting you up for a back step straight or side step uppercut. Never ever participate in any of that kind of stuff. Just push them and push them. Get them on the ropes and do some body work. But always be ready for the counters. You can see he's waiting for a counter. And they know, like, I'll throw punches, left, right, uppercuts, hooks. But they know that straight is going to just will wreck me. So they don't care. They'll just wait for a straight. And again, they'll run. They'll blow all their stamina early, spamming away the straights, and then they'll just keep trying to throw straights the whole fight. They'll run like a bitch. Almost everyone does this, especially the big, heavy spammers. When you have a very aggressive opponent, you can get them off you by pressing LB or L1, and that will make them miss punches as well. So that helps. But don't spam that if you have a legit player, you know that's not really fair. And again, this is just showing that even though if you're fighting someone with a chicken wing, even though we throw on the correct side, which would be his right side, because he's an orthodox spammer, my hook to the head won't even land. So you're stuck with a hook to the body or a straight to the body to throw on the correct side. If I throw on the other side, I'm done. Now this guy does a perfect block counter on me. You'll see it's still early in the fight. I throw a sequence of power punches. There's the first one. Here's the second one. Third one. And I threw too many, and he perfect blocked me. Because it's too early in the fight to be throwing like all these power punches. And so, yeah. So again, if you get pushed, or you need to close distance, flick the left stick into him. And doing the drills will allow you to learn all that stuff. It'd be automatic for you. Now here we have another spammer. This is what not to do. This is a, like I said, 3-year-old clip, or older, probably this one. And you'll see I just keep throwing punches. I look at this, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Because remember, the big, tall, giant spammers, they cannot fight in the inside, and unless they're throwing straights, really. And the thing is I'm just letting him spam away, and he could throw as many straights as he wants until he gets to about 60% stamina. And this is right in the beginning of the fight. Like, I'm just blowing it here. You want to land your shots, move away, let him throw a little bit. Take your time. You know, take the decision if necessary, but this is not how to do it. If you throw a lot of punches early in a fight, I know it's fun and everything, but this is how you lose. This is definitely not the way to do it. You want to throw 2 punch, 1 punch, until things slow down. Because, like I said, he can be as sloppy as he wants for 3, 4, 5 rounds until he gets tired. And again, you can have people spam straights to your body, maybe. So a lot of people do the same thing as this: dip down into the straight to the body, let it block 4 or 5, and then punch him back on the same side that he was throwing from. If you foul, and that's part of your game plan, do it when the referee's not looking. Again, we stay flat-footed so we don't get hit with those back step straights, and we counter them. Now here's a rhino style. They're going to throw it to the body first, then the head. So you want to dip down and block that first shot to the body, and those are in the drills as well. And there again, we're going to dip down and block that body punch. Now here's what we want to do. We block this shot, and then we throw our own power shot. So now this is kind of a perfect block counter. See that? That will keep people off you, because you don't want, like I say, you don't want to be getting run over. And again, here's now orthodox versus orthodox. The jab to the body will go under his straight every time. Okay, and what we want to do again is get these guys' percentage real low, like this guy. That's really one of the big keys to winning fights as well, because it directly ties into stamina. Okay, never fight someone that's more than like 1 point above you overall stats. See, 985, not fair. If you have someone leaning back, like doing gimmicks with straights, which a lot of people do, turn southpaw or the same side as their straight and throw straights to the body under their straight. They'll stop that every time. And what you want to do is have somebody do this to you. Get, you know, your brother, sister, dad, mom, grandma, whatever, and have them just throw straights at you repeatedly and stand right in front of them. And so it becomes like a muscle memory, you know, throwing the counters to that. So here's the first training video. Okay, in this training video, I'm just going to use my brawler. If you've been keeping up with the videos, and my last one was called advanced blocking and other tactics, I built a brawler in there and I explained through, you know, how and why. But the most important part is having a durable fighter. It's not the most important factor in your fights, because that really comes down to stamina and kind of like your skill. But nonetheless, I'm going to be using him, and I'm going to put the settings on greatest of all time, and then we're going to go to on the last 3, max those out so he has the best chance and he throws a lot of punches. And then what we're looking at here is the camera angle. I find higher wide to be the best. It really helped me out actually by changing my camera view, because you can see what's going on a lot better in my opinion. So, and in this training video now, the pace of this fight and what's going on is not really what emulating an OWC fight. This is just practicing the stepping counters. So remember the graphics I had earlier where I flicked the left stick and then flicked the right stick? We're going to do that. So this time I'm going to flick down, so that will make me step to my right, and then I throw my hook by throwing the right stick, flicking that at about 11 o'clock. You can use buttons, but it's not quite as effective in my opinion. Plus it uses more stamina, and you don't have all the variation. But using sticks is a lot better if you can do it. Or at least in your combos, at least have one of them. Let's say like a jab to the head, and then a uppercut to the body and left hook to the head. Like, at least try to use the stick for the first jab. So you just want to practice these over and over. So step to the left and then punch, step to the right and punch, step to the left and throw a right, step to the left and throw a left, step to the right and throw a right, you know, etc. And also work on the body jab a little bit too, so you get a feel how it works, because that will just really nullify anything he's doing from that side. And the same with these check hooks too, these stepping hooks. So you don't always have to step with the check hook, but it helps a lot. And this is something, when you find a spammer, even if he's not like any of the people we watched in the video earlier here, it will still work really good. When they throw the straight, if you step off to the side and you crack them, you're going to catch them a lot. Plus, you're going to get a lot of points for that as well. And it stops him, what he's doing. So there's the step and the punch. And when you practice, don't worry about beating up Ali or anything. And try to learn to fight without a straight at first. You know, use hooks and uppercuts. And I would look at the advanced blocking video and go through the build part, because it's very, very durable. You basically have to be punching in order to get knocked out. And I rarely have anybody that can have me up on the ropes and just beat me down. It's been at least a year. So, but you do it to other people though. And a good solid 1-2 combo by Muhammad Ali. So there we go. What I'm doing here is kind of showing. So what you do is you'll flick the right stick to about the 11 o'clock position. If you do it repeatedly, once you get the right angle on it, you can throw about 6 or 7 of those very fast, and there's nothing they can do. You're basically spamming the dude with check hooks. But you can definitely do it. It will use a lot of stamina, over time, but you can do it here and there relatively safely. You know, and of course, I don't recommend spamming or endorse it at all. But if you have a spammer and you need to do that, then by all means do it. Okay, and you also notice sometimes I'll throw like little feints when you practice. Right before you get into engagement range, you know, you're backing out, going in, backing out, going in. When you get to the point where, like, you know, someone's going to throw, you know, throw a little feint, and if a guy falls for it, just keep doing it. You know, the AI is not going to do it, of course. And now what we're doing, since we're orthodox versus orthodox, what we want to do is really work our lead hand against his straight hand side. So, like, again, we go jab of the body, check hook to the head, and again we block just like the last video. Right as the punch comes in, the block is much stronger like that, and holding it down too long weakens your block. So block, 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 and then dip down and into the body punches and back and away from the head punches. And our jabs want good long jabs like that. You don't want to be on him spamming 3 or 4 or 5. Good long single or double jabs what you want. And that one, definitely try to use the sticks. So there we go. Now we lean back. So this is a pull counter. We lean back, and right when we're coming back into him, we throw the punch. And I got a lot of those in the advanced blocking video. So an important thing here is our stamina. We want to try to work on getting back at least 90 going around 2. This is heavyweight, rating 90 OW, you know. There's another check hook there. So just keep practicing the check hooks. So either with or without stepping, and then sometimes leaning back, like so. See how I lean back, and then right when I come back in, throw.
He's showing what a skilled fighter he is with this counter punching.
And stay flat-footed like that. So when he's running away punching, you don't run into him. That was a big factor in me starting to win more fights as well. There's a step, and then now we go to the body this time. And definitely practice those.
Little head hunting never hurt, does it with the hook.
And right after we block, if he's in range, we can hit him back. I got more of that in the next video. So right after you catch the punch on your gloves, immediately on the same side they just threw from. But in the next training session is basically a lot of that and not so much of this. Okay, well notice here I keep throwing my left hook, and it's not really doing much, and because there's a feature in the game called muscle group fatigue, and what that means, you keep throwing the same punch over and over, it starts becoming ineffective. Like, I'm not doing anything to him with this even when I hit him, so that means we need to chill out a little bit and switch, do something else. And that's another thing you really should practice. Unfortunately though, it doesn't matter with the straight. The straight you can throw over, you know. They broke that with a patch. So when you notice that feels like you're just slapping them, you gotta stop. And then back up, switch the stance or something, because it means that arm's getting tired. And that can happen easily after 3 punches.
Look at how easy he's able to block those punches.
So another thing you notice, like when I block, I'm trying to stay with my feet still. So flat-footed when you block, it makes your block much more effective. So we're going to stay flat-footed and press the block button right as the punch comes in. And then if we can, we're going to dip into the body punch and backing away from the head punches. So this is just more of the same. Step outside his lead foot. You see my right foot versus his left foot. I'm outside of it. That time it actually did it correctly. That's what you want to do. So you step outside the foot, throw the punch. And if you're early enough, you can also step inside. So that would, you know, make you step outside of the punch actually. And I think if I can see correctly, this said 99 on my stamina. That's really good. That's what you want to do also when you're doing these drills, is work on making sure you're getting back to high stamina. Because if you're not, what that means is you're missing too many punches, or you're taking a lot of punches, you know. But generally, it means you're missing too many. If you're going around 2 with 86, you know, or 89, that means you're missing too many punches, and or the buttons kind of give you, you know, penalize you a little bit, I think.
Did a nice job that time. That worked well for him.
So there we go. We just block it and then immediately hit right after. See, he's running away punching, and I just stood there, right?
He got away from that punch.
That's a good combo too. The main thing with that combo was that the last punch went to his head. So I had 2 jabs going to the body and then 1 to the head, and the 1 to the head was on the same side as his straight. That's super important, especially early in the fight.
He just ties up. Henry's well off the mark that time.
See, I tired my arm out again. I can feel it in there. You know, I remember this. So be conscious of that, you know, of all times.
Precision work with the left hand by Henry. Henry's tagged by a hook.
And then when we get him on the ropes in a corner, that's when you can go ahead and open up on him. And if he's just shelled up, push him. Never let someone just sit there and block. And Ali's good to practice against like that, because he'll do that. Like, you get him on the ropes, he'll be there just blocking. And what you want to do is kind of like visualize him being a guy at OWC. The guy in OWC, when he's standing there blocking, he's going to be looking for a step back straight, which can easily knock you out. So you want to push him before you throw anything, or just push him and knock him off balance and move away. So when you play against Ali offline, he's a perfect guy to do that, because when he gets on the ropes, he'll shell up and just block, and that's when you gotta make it automatic and give him a push. Here we step to the left.
To the head he goes with a left hand.
And I believe this session's going to be over in a minute. Just wanted to show the stepping to the left or right, and then throw your punch.
Going through. 3 ways to defend. One of them is
And in the advanced blocking video, the one previous to this, I have a lot of pull counters in there, so you can throw counter punches being flat-footed. So that gets some knockouts too, that big overhand.
So defensively sound, it doesn't make for an easy target.
No, it doesn't, and it makes for a very frustrating night for his opponent.
Yeah, see, so now what we're doing is we're trying to hit him back on the same side that he threw from. So his right, we're going to hit his right, left, we're going to target his left. And here we go. So I'm flat-footed, block as the punch comes in, and then right after the block, hit him back.
He's worried he's going to leave an opening.
Unable to land clean by Muhammad Ali. Ali's showing you that sublime skill.
There we go. See, when we're flat-footed like that, not moving our feet around, it makes our blocking more effective and our punching more effective. So backing away and then counter.
2-punch combo.
Okay, you'll see here, I'm up 3 rounds. So what that means is I don't need to do anything. You know, you don't want to take big risks when you're up on the score. You know, let them come score their knockdowns and knockouts and get their points. You know, that's one of the I see on YouTube all the time. I'll watch people fight and they'll be winning, and they chase the dude around. They get caught with back step straight. So all that work and everything just goes out the window with cheapness. You know, so keep that in mind too.
He better not admire his work. He throws that punch and he's looking to see the effect.
And in fact, a good strategy would be to just kind of tap his body with some jabs, you know, or throw a few jabs here and there and make him throw and miss more. You'll catch them. It takes time, but the way you want to have the fight flow really is wear him down for 3 rounds, kind of start boxing. You'll start clipping him here and there, and then he'll start being slowing down, and eventually he's going to be tired enough and your punch is going to be sharp enough that you're going to start stunning him, and then you can open up. Or at the same time, when he gets less dangerous, you work him to the ropes and just do all your work there. In fact, on my Ball Bully playlist, I have a lot of that.
Right hand downstairs.
So he's running away, and I'm going to kind of not punch while I'm going into it. I'm not going to chase him with punches. That's what I'm trying to say here. So here I did the little check hook spam thing a couple times. Yeah. I'm not very good at it. I don't really do this that much. Especially with the left hand. But that's how you would practice that, and once you get it down good, it works. It'll work real good for you if you have to use it versus spammer. So there I'm trying it with the backhand, the power hand. And also, if you can, you definitely can. What I would do, what I highly recommend, is learn to fight Southpaw and Orthodox. Because sometimes, depending on the other character, other player, his build, his speed, his tactics, sometimes you can just turn Southpaw and use a jab to the body, and just slow things down, let things get normalized, or leveled out, and then switch back, And that helped me quite a bit too, because like I showed on the Southpaw spammer, the first fight we had, like I turned Southpaw and I threw check hooks, and when you practice going with both stances, you can basically double up the number of punches you got in a way, if you think about it. And another thing, when you switch stances, your power carries over. So if I start off as an Orthodox and I have a level 20 jab to the head, and then later in the fight I turn Southpaw, now I'm going to have like a high level straight to the head. And that is definitely... I have another video on the channel that I had a long time ago called I Troll Spammers. It says switching stances, and I show it there. So I would recommend, especially new people, learn to fight without a straight and switch your stance around, and definitely try to master using the sticks.
He tried to nab him up top, but was unable to connect.
So you see, I'm letting him run off. We don't want to chase him around. Like I said, that's one of the things that will get you knocked out with the step back straight. So another thing is when you punch, unless you need to go forward like a lunging punch, you see how I'm flat-footed. I'm standing right in the same spot. So that way, if you miss, you don't run into a back step straight.
What he can do when he sends that right to the head. Sending more than one at him now. The combo to the head.
And the straight to the body is probably the best punch versus a Orthodox spammer or Orthodox guy that throws a lot of straights, because it goes right under it. It's super powerful. And again, just for the training purposes, like we're up 3 points, so I could really go lay in the corner.
Well, that's what happens when you have that kind of experience. You're calm enough to know that range, know where the beginning of the punch and the end of the punch is.
Ali's taken a lot of punishment with the right hand. Teddy, you've had
in the middle, and he needs to move it in the middle, and he needs to move it to the left, outside that right hand.
What a great job.
Man, that one's just one to the body.
Nice work by Muhammad Ali.
And if this was an OWC fight, this would kind of be the area or the time of fight that you could start putting some more pressure on him and start working to the ropes, And but make it a progression, Don't make it a sprint. Just figure him out and then start slowly, getting your game plan going. See, there we go. That's the right way. That last one a moment ago. You see how fast it came out.
see him utilizing the jab.
You know, a lot of times you see a guy on the outside bouncing around, staying away. You understand the use of a jab, but when you're coming forward, you have to come forward with a cover, and that jab, that's the cover.
So again, this is just practice. You know, just practice stuff. Doesn't matter if you win or lose against the computer. You know.
Both decide to bring it, and that has some bite to it. That right hand by Henry.
Okay, we noticed a moment ago I was slapping those right hooks and it wasn't doing anything. You need to keep yourself from repeating that too much. You know, if it's not working, then it's not working.
Waiting for things to happen that are not happening. You know,
like that combo I threw, for example, I threw that probably 8 times during this training session. The jab to the body, the hook to the head. And I only landed 1. So after the second one I missed, like, that's it. Like, I'm done with that. You know, you got to stop doing what's not working.
Here's one for you now, he says. Right back
And with new people, I think that's probably one of the main things that cause them to lose, is especially with straights. I don't know what it is with that, but they'll miss 3 or 4 or 5 step back straights, and they just they don't do anything. They just keep doing it. And then I look at the stats in their fights, and they threw, maybe they say they threw like 60 uppercuts and they landed 57%, but then they threw 280 straights and they landed 21%. So if they would have just switched to uppercuts, they would have done much, much better. So you have to keep a tally mentally going, like how you're doing and what combos are working, what punches are not working, and you keep it an ongoing tally where you're, you know, assessing all the time what's working, what's not. And if it's not working, obviously, you know, don't keep doing that, you know.
Yeah, he's picking it up, you know, and that's exactly what he has to do, is pick it up a little bit. You know, if he was in a car race and he's going about 40 miles an hour, everybody else going 50. Now he's got it up to 45, 48.
Okay, there's pull counter.
You know, push that gas
So we
pedal
lean
a
back
little
and
more,
throw
Joe,
like that.
he
Missed
might
that
be
one
there.
though, but.
Teddy, what would you recommend based on what we're seeing here tonight?
Well, 2 aspirin and then oh no, actually I would say a little counter punching would be just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that right hook to his head is not working at all. So that would have to be scrapped in a fight until late. You know, when he slows down or something, maybe try to get him a couple more times. But that's something that I would not do any longer once I miss 2 or 3 of them.
At the halfway point.
There we did the dash in. Remember the guy in the beginning of the video that was spamming straight to the body and we dashed in on him? There we go. So we're going to flick the left stick towards him and then throw our punch.
Well off the mark by Muhammad Ali.
To the body.
Good clean shot, returning fire. Well done by the bully. Blocks that blow, and then a counter uppercut.
So we switched to uppercut because I had thrown 3 of those power hooks. And remember the muscle group fatigue. Keep throwing the same thing over and over. You know, it just won't do anything because we're worn that arm out for the time being.
Well, that was his intention.
And also, remember, I have no straight stats. But look at this. I've knocked people down all the time with a straight with 1 green bar. It's so powerful. So you can still use that here and there, even if you have no stats on it. In fact, I did a couple spam. Like I was gonna post them. One was what's his name? Marshall Mine. Shout out to him. He did a butterbean challenge, and he tried to beat Tyson with butterbean on the hardest setting. So I did that same challenge, but I only threw power straights using butterbean. I knocked out Tyson like in 2.5 rounds. And then I built the spammer 6'8" guy, 88 reach, 260, and I had 0 stats on the straight, but I was able to knock out Tyson on greatest of all time in 3 rounds with 0 stats. Just spamming the straight. It's crazy. So anyway, I believe this is the second session. This is going to be different stuff and just going over the camera angle thing again. And well, greatest of all time. And then, you know, these last 3 maxed out. But also, you know, later as you get better, you want to adjust the sliders, like the damage and the power, so it becomes more dangerous for you. That will just, you know, make you a lot better, obviously. And in this training session, we're going to do different things I'm using the ball bully. That's the build that I put together in the last video, advanced blocking, and also I have in the ball bully playlist. There's that build video, but I would recommend the one in the advanced blocking video because there's actual voice commentary and I go over it more. So here's the feints again, and this is more like the pace we would use in a real fight. So I'm kind of showing like what I would do, but I also throw in the check hooks. So we stepped outside and hit him in the body with the hook, the stepping check hook or stepping hook. This time some jabs, but not spamming them to the body.
Teddy, what do you look for early?
And I'm going to kind of keep the pace on this one more. I believe I do. Keep the pace more. That would be, indicative of a OWC fight. So it'd be kind of just tapping the body a little bit and keeping the pace kind of slow. So anyway, what we got here is the lunge or the dash in hook to the head. So we flick the left stick directly at him, and then we flick the right stick to punch.
Off against each other. That gives you a clue as to which way this is going.
Who's doing the little things a little bit better? Who's using the jab? Who's controlling range?
Now you see.
Hey, who's thinking better?
Yeah, we only want to initiate like 2 or 3 times max because we don't want to make it a pattern of the fight where the guy's only counter punching. Like if you land a punch, make him come land one. Don't be the only person attacking because it's easier to it's easier to counter punch than attack. And you're just playing into their bullshit, with the step back straights and side step uppercuts, all that. Anyway. So see, we missed there, but we're not going to keep walking into him punching. We're going to block right as the punch come in. And then down for the body punches, up for the head punches.
Nice block by Muhammad Ali. Oh, and he's got something for him himself. And it's
There's another dash in there. And this is something I do all the time. Like I don't really throw a lot of the side step hooks or the check hooks a whole lot, honestly, in OWC, unless I absolutely need to. But this dash in I use quite a bit. And again, the high arcing hook like that is the check hook. That's the one you want to use. And as far as I know, as far as like there's up jab. Anyway, as far as I know, yeah, let's look at this up jab real fast. So here's another way you can jab too. Keeps your head off the center line, so you're outside of the straight. And you notice I lean down and then I throw the jab up. It's just a regular jab, but you lean down first, and that keeps you way out of range of his straight. And a lot of the top players, like that's the only way they throw jabs. It's very, very difficult to deal with. So that's a little something you can add into.
Round number 1. Ali's got nobody to blame but himself. I mean, he got hit much too much in that last round.
Well, he was throwing his punches from
okay, so we're at what, 96? I can't really see that on my screen right now, but that's good. That's about what we want to get.
Wants to do that. Guess what? His opponent wanted to. He had the desire to do that.
And my jab is 1 green bar, remember? So level 1, I guess. And you can still kind of use it here and there. But ideally, like with these training sessions, this is where you want to practice your techniques that you want to try and apply online. See, there he goes. He's shelling up, and that's what I was talking about last video or last section. Give him a push.
Covers up nicely, gets rid of his opponent's body shot.
And keep the short combos because he's going to be backing up. And Ali is actually a good sparring partner, I think. He does throw a lot of straights, and he does back away throwing straights too. So he's probably the best representation as far as the EA Sports character as far as the spammer go. He doesn't, do step back straights and all that, but he does walk away throwing straights. Okay, there's the block. There's the block. And now we're going to punch. So that's the thing. You get a free punch when you block or they miss, like a particular punch, say on this case, his right. We basically get a free left. So if you block or partially block one, or he misses, give him a shot back, you know, as long as you don't in risk of getting hit with a straight.
Yeah, because they understand that the body punching, you know, that's not something.
And if you're losing all the time online, or you're winning the first 3 rounds, and then you get knocked out, like in the 4th or 5th or 10th, you know, later, try to slow your pace down about like this. You know, just throw some body jabs, and you just keep the pace low. And 1 punch, 2 punch, you know. Because the worst thing you can do is open up with a big flurry right in the middle of the ring against a fresh opponent. That's the recipe for disaster, you know. Just take it slow. If you have your character set up right, there's nothing that they can do. And I also, in my other video, Advanced Blocking, I show how to counter it being pushed. And that's, I think, in all my videos. So there's nothing they can do. If you got a good durable fighter, there's nothing they can do. So I block, hit. So that's how we can kind of help keep people from running us over, steamrolling us, you know. So immediately after the block, we're going to crack them. And I do, as we're going through the rounds, there's different things. I'm going to be doing a lot more of the perfect block counter. That's where you block and then immediately punch. So yeah, we're still at 97. That's what we want in an OWC fight, is to keep the pace slow.
And round number 3 is underway. The bully's fully committed to utilizing the jab, and I think it's working out well for him early on.
Well, it is. It's kind of like, you know, sending static out there. You want to scramble.
And this jab is actually, my character, he's by default a Southpaw. And he's got a level 20 straight as a Southpaw, so now my jab to the body is very high level too.
Teddy, do you think the sport needs a national or international governing body?
Yeah, it's the only major.
So that's a good combo if it lands too, is throwing a jab to the body and then a hook to the head on the same side as his straight. Because the reason why, the low punch will drop their hands a little bit, and the second one to the head will get them. So there's some spammers, they specialize in a jab to the body, straight to the head, jab to the body, straight to the head, jab to the body, straight to the head. They'll do it real fast succession, and it's very, very effective. Or they'll do a jab to the body, power straight to the head. That's effective. So low, high, or high, low. If you're working the body, throw like a jab to the head, then a power hook to the body. Or if you want to go for a knockout, hit them low, then high. But right now, at this point in this fight, we want to just keep the pace slow.
The halfway mark of this 3-minute round.
And again, the jabs, you try to want long jabs and not like 3 or 4 or 5, you know, 1 or 2.
Able to cover up along the belt line, blocks that one.
So we're blocking right as the punches come in. It's hard to see, but I let go in between each of his punches, right? Most of the time.
When he gets to the inside.
And in my opinion, the cross block is by far the most powerful. I know for sure the Philly shell, where the body uppercuts to them is devastating to that. Like, a lot of people don't know that. If you find a guy with the Philly shell, especially where his elbows bent, that would be his lead arm. Power uppercuts all day. I have footage. I'm going to do that eventually, a video. Basically, that's going to be a sidestep uppercut spam video, but because most of them use Philly shell. But I've already recorded the footage and everything. I eat my uppercuts to the body. I leveled those up halfway, so you know the green bar, so it's like level 10. And they got through, I think, against the CPU with 100 everything, 100 reflexes, all that. I got through the Philly shell about 65-70% of the time with him just blocking. And so that will be something. But that's something to keep in mind. But getting back to the blocking and all that, the reason why I have short, heavy fighters with the power styles, you see where his hands are, my characters? See how fast the block comes up? That's not good for counter punching, like jumping around, back step straights, all this, side step uppercut, all that stuff. But when it comes to being right up on them, I mean, it's perfect, you know. And that's kind of my style. I just like to stay forward. You know, I wear them down for a little while, then I start pressing harder, and then I work on just mauling them on the ropes. You know. And that's a fun style too. And people, I never really get hate messages. Everybody, they like fighting me. You know what I mean? Because I make it fun. I don't spam, but I'll sling heavy punches with them the whole fight, even if I lose. You know. So in my opinion, like having just a good, well-rounded guy, boxer, is better than loading up a straight and only throwing that. Like I don't see why it would be necessary to win like that myself.
He got hit right there, but he also gave one. Solid effort by the bully.
And maybe for some people it's like win at any cost. I don't know, but the thing is I feel dirty almost doing stuff like that. And I don't know if it's because like I guess it'd be equivalent to like someone that was in the SAS or in the Marines running around battlefield game noob tubing, you know, running around with a bazooka or something. Because I boxed for a long time and I don't know. I just can't. I wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so we continue on here, and we'll see that I'm going to start using some uppercuts a little bit in a moment. And what you want to do is use some of the punches that you haven't used much earlier, or even if you don't have leveled up. You know, give them, you know, use them a little bit, especially later in the fight.
90 seconds to go in round number 4.
Now you see he's punching going backwards. We don't want to run into that. There we go.
Good combination on the 1-2 by Muhammad Ali.
This kind of ties into the muscle group fatigue thing. So if you keep throwing like right hooks, hundreds of them, you know, your uppercut from your left or right, whatever, your uppercut, because it's a different muscle group, it's still gonna be decent. You know, just a little bit. Just throw it a little bit. It's not like it's gonna slap and do nothing. So that's something that you should test out too, is like use punches you don't have level up. And like I was saying, I knocked out, yeah, I beat Tyson on greatest of all time offline with level 0 straight. I knocked him out in 3 rounds.
Oh, look at that. You know you need space to punch.
But the straight is definitely a punch you can use with no stats on it. You know, not as a primary weapon, of course, but I get a lot of knockdowns with it when they're tired.
And that's the end of round 4. Muhammad Ali.
Again, there's this little jabs to body.
Just look at the punch stats.
Keep your distance. The fight is rhythm, okay?
And yeah, stamina's decent. He's actually really good, I think, for this point in the fight.
A round that could simply add on to a new direction.
Yeah, so this is another check hook.
I really liked what he was able to do in that
So
last
if
round.
you fight Orthodox online, or even if Southpaw, you want to really practice a lot throwing check hooks against the Orthodox opponent, because most people are Orthodox, and so you want to really work on that, because you can definitely practice for an hour offline, and you go online, it's going to work. And if you have to use buttons still, you know, try and learn how to use the sticks. But if you're still using buttons, you know, that's good too. You can step outside his lead foot and then fire off the hook. It will definitely work. Especially works good for spammers. They're going to be worried about that too. After you hit him once with it.
Blocks one and then brings his own bazooka.
And that would be the stepping hook. So you step down or to your right and then throw your lead hook to the head. So what we're looking at here is, okay, I believe this is a sequence of perfect block counters. So we're blocking. Block this one right after the block. And when you do this over and over offline, it becomes almost automatic online.
Still plenty of time to work here in round number 5. Minute and a half to go.
So I believe this is just a replay of that. Maybe there's more to it. No, what is this? This is okay. So what's going on here? This is very important. Is you see I'm trying to work them over right on the ropes. Now he's spun out pretty good. Now he's got all that ring behind him. So we're not going to chase him with punches. If he escapes off the ropes, then let him go. Because watch this. See, he threw it straight. That's what everyone does online. They run away. They won't fight on the ropes. They run away, and then they expect you to keep coming after them, and they throw it straight. That's super important. That's probably 20% of the reason why I have like pretty good success online, because I don't chase people around. You have to realize that firstly, we're up on points, so we don't need to go after them for anything, and secondly, that we've already done our work against the ropes, and so we don't need to keep chasing him around. And also, when you use some stamina throwing these punches, like you're higher susceptible to, or you're more susceptible to getting hurt worse or getting knocked out when you get punched. So if you throw a big flurry, you're gonna rest a few seconds, like 30 seconds, 20 seconds. If you throw like a 8-punch combo, you need to like chill for a little bit, because if you keep punching, that's what makes you get knocked out. And that's why it's important to practice throwing like 1s or 2s out in the middle, and then when you get on the ropes, then you do your throw your combos. And 1 or 2 good hard punches is better than like 6 slopping punches, that are missing or hitting as block, or, especially with the buttons. So it's better to throw good hard shots in short succession than it is a big flurry of this slapping sloppy punches. And that was a big factor for me early when I was playing this game, was for gassing out and getting knocked out, just throwing too many punches. You gotta keep it slow and just wait for them to get clipped, and it will happen. Like, that's bad right there. See, I walked right into that because I wasn't standing still when blocking.
Yeah, the perfect way. I mean, boxing
coming up here is going to be a very important sequence, and what this is it's a series of perfect block counters, and this is really the main way. Like, if I had to sum it up, this would be the way that you stay competitive with anyone and you don't get steamrolled. So let's look at this. You'll see that I block, I get my punch in. There's the first one, and I'm punching to the same side that he just punched me from. So there we go. A hard punch. Block this one. Get that punch off, block that one, get the body shot off. One. Wait for him, block it. Shoot right back. Another one. Immediately shoot back. And I believe there's one more. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, that sequence there is what you want to do if you're getting steamrolled, or you got someone that's being very aggressive against you.
Nice block that time. It was intended to the head. I like that 2-punch combo by Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, see my feet are moving around. That's why I'm getting lit up there. So flat-footed when blocking, right? Now he's just standing there, so we're gonna give him a push.
How are you gonna be the taller guy, the longer guy, the outside fighter?
And when you do this, when you are doing the perfect block counters, most people throw their straight. So you need to keep that in mind, because that means you're gonna throw your punch. If you're Southpaw, for example, you're gonna throw your left towards him. So if you have to throw your left at him 3 times because he's throwing 3 straights, then so be it. That's what it's going to be. So keep that in mind, because sometimes you have to kind of guess. You block, you don't know what side he's going to, but if you're in a position where you're guessing what side he's throwing from, throw
well
to
up
his
top.
straight side.
That left hand over the top, he's accurate with it.
And one of the reasons why I use a brawler slot I recommend people do is, firstly, no one really uses them. I don't see too many people out there that are 5'10", just with that. And then also, where we have our heavy weight, we got the power style, so our hands are up high. We've got the cross block. It's very hard to get through. There's really not much people can do once they start getting in the later parts of the fight and they get tired. They have to run, you know, like I was showing that guy earlier. So especially when you learn how to push and you can counter the push, there's nothing they can do. And for some people, when we start getting to this point in the fight, it's almost like, you know, putting a lamb to the slaughter. I mean, there's just nothing they can do. And sure, you don't have the step back straights, or you don't have all the one punch knockouts from the straight, but since you didn't load up all, you know, spend almost 9,000 points for a straight, you get 2 full body hooks and a part halfway leveled up uppercut to the body too. So you basically only get 2.5 punches for the price of a straight. And a straight's not going to do a whole lot here. So this is just more of the same. In fact, I think what I'm going to do, because this video is so hard for me to put together, I'm not a video guy, I'm not a YouTuber or nothing like that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a series, and I started pulling out some clips. So I'm just going to go from settings to blocking to basic punching to combos, and just have a series 1 through 10 or whatever. And that way you guys won't have to see these long ass videos either.
Commits to the overhand right, and it serves him well. Right to the belt line.
So, and definitely when you play against the AI offline, definitely practice this, the block punch, block punch, block punch, because it definitely translates online. I do it all the time.
He took a shot, but he came back with a right hand of his own.
Now he's running off, so if we can't corner him still, we're going to let him go. But if we can keep him cornered, we're going to make him fight. So if we have to push him, if he's going to shell up with his block, then we're going to push him. Okay, that's very, very, very important.
Let's look at Teddy's scorecard as we begin round number 8 here. The bully's been on the mark throughout the first 7 rounds, Teddy. He's dominating on your score.
Okay, so we're way up on points. There's no need to take any risks or anything. If we get the knockout, we get it. If we don't, we don't. And that's the game why I'm only like 50% knockout rate. If people run away trying to throw straights at me, then I'll take a decision. You know?
The bully's left, working well that time. Just good, precise, precision punching by our man here.
Like I was saying before, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, the straight to the body is real good too. Especially even against the ropes, because when they're moving left, moving right, you can kind of step and spear them with the body straight. That's a different video though. I don't think I have that in here. See, now he's not doing a whole lot, you know.
90 seconds to go, halfway through round 8. Comes right back with a big blow up top.
Just give him another check hook.
Jab and a straight by Muhammad Ali.
Another thing is use the bob and weave late in the fight near the ropes too, because it creates a counter. And that's, like, I should make another video on that, but that alone gets a lot of knockdowns. The bob and weave hook. Now I'm moving my feet again, wrong, you know, blocking. I'm just spamming with the check hook thing. Yeah, see, that's not doing anything. See the muscle group fatigue kicking in right there.
Muhammad Ali's getting himself into the mix now, landing that left hand. More than one punch downstairs, that can be damaging. Clock counting down here in round number 8.
So we need to close distance, couple body jabs. Okay, this is kind of like a pot shot. You want to, if you throw a big, huge power shot, you want to do it where it lands like right at the end of it. So if you miss, he does not have a back step straight. See, so I almost want to miss him with it. That was actually a little bit too far into him. I was a little bit too close. You want it right where it lands right at the end of your punch. So you don't want your punch like going where it would be like hooking around the back of his head, because if he does a back step straight, you're done. So it's better to miss it and be a little short than it is to be too close and give him a back step straight. And that's something they all look for. Everyone looks for that. So I believe we have a little bit more here, and then there's a few more little small things, and that should about wrap it up.
Ali with a big left.
And also I got a message for a couple people.
Oh, a nice two-punch combo by Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he's done. See, at this point, you need to give him a push.
Right in the way of that hook to the head. Oh, that had to hurt.
The other thing, see how I turn my southpaw? If my back foot is on the same side as his back foot, we can move with him faster. So if you have a runner, you want to switch your back foot to the same side as his, and that will make you move with him better. Now this time I stepped to the side he's stepping to, and you saw that in one of the first video clips. So he stepped to the left because he's going to his right, and then we fired a shot off. This is something that works all the time. So when you have people on the ropes, they're riding the ropes, they're going left, going right, step to the direction they're going and give them one punch.
And now he's targeting upstairs. Ali's putting forth that hard work he didn't.
See, that's a bad range. I wasn't all the way in or all the way out.
Well, the old timers used to say, when you're calm in there, when you're controlling there, you can make them do what you want. He made them tie his shoelaces right there.
Ali's lack of defense, especially when it comes with just getting away from that right hand.
So if this is an online fight, all you need to worry about here is a back step straight. That's about it.
Otherwise, your opponent will move it for you.
And he engages in the clinch. Good right hand.
Because the fight's gone, a good amount of distance here now, and still got good stamina. Like that. That's the kind of stuff you don't want to take. And really, like I said, you can just go lay in the corner, Like, you don't need to do anything if you're way up on points.
Ali's movements really helping him out, avoiding that punch.
And short combos.
From Ali's nose.
And if this was a real player, we'd be being very cautious of the step back straight right here, because that's what, you'll notice they try to get space between their back and the ropes, and what they're doing, they're looking for a back step straight.
But all that's happened all night long is one guy.
Okay, and you'll see that we got back 12% stamina, and generally that means the game is telling you, like, hey, you're doing good. That's the punches you're throwing, your pace, all that. So that's what you really want to strive for, is 12% or 14% coming back. But if you throw a lot of punches, and you sometimes you just can't help it, but that's what you want to strive for. Okay, so he's done, and so yeah, that's about what I do normally, and the perfect block counter is definitely something you should incorporate, as well as the stepping hooks. And I was talking to a gentleman on Reddit actually, and he was trying some of the techniques that I had, and he did an amazing job. I couldn't believe how good he was doing stuff. He did the hooks on the same side as the guy straight. He even got pushed a few times, and he was able to counter the push, so he slid back into it. And it's something that's very rare. I rarely see anyone online do that. When you do a push straight, and then the guy slides back into you. He did that. He was doing everything right, but what happened was he wasn't throwing any power shots based on his stats. And so I think what happened was, and he had so much damage, I think what happened, he got kind of ran over a little bit in the beginning. And if he uses these techniques where doing the perfect block and the side step hooks, he definitely could stop that. So this is just showing again. Okay, this is Southpaw because that was the topic of this video. That's not how you want to do the jabs because that's going to gas me out, but it will counter and stop his, his attack. So now I would have to chill and rest for a while because I threw a lot of them. And then I do a step back hook to the body. So you can do, instead of a step back straight, you step back and you throw the hook underneath his straight. So, and once again, in closing, go underneath the straights. So, and also one last thing, a couple people are affected by this. Like, I can see the preview of your comment, but I can't reply. I can't see the full comment. So I apologize to John Barnes and also Other Side of the Tracks Boxing. I know for sure the two of you guys are affected by that. Whatever it is, I tried a separate computer, even in a different browser. I just don't know what's up with that. But thank you all for sticking around, and hope this helps you out. Thanks again. Take care.